Here's what I've learned from online dating. Obviously, keep this in mind, I'm no longer online dating. I would never go back to an online platform ever again. But this is just the lessons I took from it. Um, and maybe this will help you out, right? If you decide to go that route, or if you already are on online dating platforms. And this is the first one, right? Which is, it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's expectations hardly ever meet reality. So many of the women that I met on those dating platforms, or that I have met on those dating platforms, they give you this, there's this perception and then there's the reality, right? And usually the perception hardly ever meets the reality. So many of the women that I've met online have looked a lot better in pictures than in person. And there's a lot of those little details that you don't find in pictures that you will obviously in person, right? When you see them. And some of these include like the angles, the lighting, the makeup, the filters. I think these are all forms of catfishing, if I'm honest with you. It's never really the other way around. A girl never looks good in pictures and looks better in person. Hardly ever. If you find that, I mean, good for you, but it's very difficult to find that. The next one, this is number 2, is that 3 dates and it's a home run. So I had no idea. I was very naive, very innocent. And then this one girl like broaches the topic. She's like, you don't know about that rule about the 3 dates? And I'm like, no, what is it? And she's like, yeah, usually what that means is like after the 3rd date, you pretty much like are good to go. You can have, you can hit a home run. I was like, oh, wow. I had never heard of this rule. Like, little did I know. But let's just say I wasn't complaining. I thought it was ridiculous, but I wasn't complaining. I'll let you go ahead and figure out why. Number 3 is that people are very flaky. You cannot take it personal, right? Like a girl will tell you, you might have a couple of dates lined up, and the reality is most of them won't either show up or they're just, I don't know, they just didn't want to follow through. They changed their mind. A whole host of reasons. The point is, there's a lot of girls that just will not show up, all right? And it's just par for the course. I mean, online dating is a numbers game, unfortunately, right? Because the reality is like, people don't know you, right? There's no social consequences to them not showing up, for example, right? Number 4 is the illusion of options, right? So there's this idea that like, oh, like I'm matching with a bunch of girls are messaging me, I'm getting a bunch of numbers. That's just an illusion, right? How many of those will you actually materialize into actual dates, into actual relationships, right? Into something that will be long-term? Very few of those, right? And I can tell you from an example, like when I was on Hinge, I was like a quote unquote like a standout, which I guess doesn't really mean much, but whatever. Point is, I was a standout, and I guess it'll translate loosely into being popular with the ladies, but it didn't really materialize into anything for me. I'll be honest with you. Maybe I just didn't know how to figure things out. Maybe I was a little too naive. And then number 5, which is like the economics of dating, which is paying for dates. I think one of the worst things about online dating is like, you just don't really know who you're getting yourself into, right? No matter what you try to do. And I was trying to vet a lot of girls. I would speak to them on the phone. I would make sure like, okay, is this a good fit? I would ask questions. And even then they would maneuver through those filters, right? And one of the things you got to be aware of is foodie calls, right? Which is that women go on dates just in search of food. I mean, like, you would think like, how is this even possible? But yes, definitely there's, and I've heard these girls say these things before. I just wanted a date because I just wanted to go eat. I'm like, I can't even believe this. So what I would say is skip the dinner and do a coffee date. And if a girl's not interested in doing a coffee date, then so be it. Like, obviously, like, she was probably a foodie call, right? Interested in trying to get a foodie call. So you didn't get finessed. So I would say definitely keep it at a coffee date. And then after the first date, if she's cute enough, then boom, you could save yourself like pretty much almost $100 at this point, right? By going on a coffee date instead of going out for dinner, right? Because it adds up, right? You're gonna get a dish, she's gonna get a dish. You're gonna get a couple drinks maybe, right? So it's like spare yourself all that, go the coffee route, and you'll be all right. But anyways, I hope this helps. Hopefully you learned something from what I learned from online dating. But like I said, at the end of the day, I think you should, if you could, avoid it at all costs and try to find somebody in real life, right? In person. Anyhow, see you on the next one.